I just celebrated my 40th birthday. And in celebrating my birthday, I decided to sit down and go through all of the lessons that I've learned. Most of them came out of issues and challenges I faced. And these lessons are basically intrinsic in me now. They are, I believe in them to my core. They help me when I'm in difficult situations or I'm struggling or I'm trying to learn something. They help me through and through, no matter what. And so my hope is that you can take at least one thing from this video that will help you improve your circumstance in some way, or maybe save you time. These things can be applied to you whether you are 20, whether you are 40, or whether you are 70. So let's get into it. The first thing is that if you have something that you want to change, document it. I chose YouTube as a form of documentation, but this is not necessary for everybody. It is quite vulnerable to put your entire life out there to the entire world for them to see, view, and criticize, and sometimes congratulate. There are pros and cons. But when I say document, I mean you can blog about it, you can create short form videos about it, you can do YouTube, you can journal, you can create videos for just yourself and upload them to YouTube where they're just private, just for you. You can also make it so that the videos are visible to just you and a partner or a family member or a friend. It is just important that if you want to really change a habit, you have to track it. And the best way to track it is to document it. And there's a lot of psychology behind this if you think about it. You're creating a record of your thoughts, of your feelings, of your actions. You, in documenting whatever action you're trying to take or habit you're trying to break, you're forcing yourself to become self-aware. And most of us are not self-aware. We might be in certain facets of our life, but there are a lot of things that we do, say, and think and act on that we're not fully aware of. We might be in the moment, but you'll likely forget about it moments later. And it's often the subtle things that really get you. It's the subtle actions that we just bypass. They're second nature. We don't even think about it. But those are the ones that you can actually catch if you are consistently documenting whatever it is you want to change or improve upon or add to your life. This can be anything. I wanted to change my financial habits, okay? Like I found myself overwhelmed, pretty depressed, and in a hole because I drained my savings and I drained my 401k account, and I was in this vicious shopping addiction cycle that had been going on for like 15 plus years. I was an impulsive buyer and I decided that I wanted to change that. And in changing that, I was going to document it through YouTube. When I created this channel, I created it thinking and expecting that 0 people would see this channel. I was making this just for me so that I could analyze what I was doing, how I could improve, how I was improving. I didn't anticipate anybody seeing my videos. It's just a bonus. I am just fortunate to have this beautiful community here on YouTube with people who are mostly supportive, 99.8% of you. There are those 0.2% that are not so much, but that's okay. I love you too. I love you too because you make me better. In documenting it, once you are consistently in detail documenting whatever it is you're trying to change, you can't hide from your thoughts and patterns. You will at some point become very aware of them. And so once you're aware, then that's where you can decide, I'm okay with it or I want to change it. And in my case, I decided that I'm still a work in progress on this, okay? This is why I'm not giving up on this channel. This channel, in documenting all of this, I can't underemphasize how beneficial this channel has been to me. Like the amount of changes I've made by just documenting my journey, and the shift in my mindset from where I was 2 years ago today is monumental. my mindset both emotionally and financially. I will say it again. If you want to change something, try documenting it. Give yourself at least 30 days. Pick a form of documentation. Figure out what it is you are trying to improve upon or change or add to your life, and document it for a minimum, bare minimum of 30 days. And I promise you, you will discover so much about yourself and your actions and your thought patterns. Number 2, do you remember when you wanted what you currently have? I say this to myself at least once per day. I want to say it was Alex Hormozy who framed it this way. I'm not really sure. But do you remember when you wanted what you currently have? My extreme sense of lack in this area up until this year has been the fundamental reason why I got into so much debt and why I have or had such an excessive shopping addiction, because I was chasing the next best thing. I was constantly chasing happiness in things. The fact is that our brains are hardwired to adapt to new things and new situations. And so that satisfaction of whatever thing that you wanted fades pretty quickly. And then you end up going back, or this happened to me essentially every single day, every single week. My satisfaction would go back to baseline, and that thing would no longer bring happiness. And so the perpetual cycle continued, and then I would search for the next thing and the next thing and the next thing and the next thing. And I never sat down to think, do you remember when you wanted what you currently have now? I like that the way that this is framed, because this is essentially, if you want to put this another way, this is basically saying like have gratitude, right? But gratitude is so overused, and it feels so, for me, it feels so out of touch. Like, what is gratitude? Like, I want to like touch it. I know what gratitude is, but it just feels so unreachable. But saying, do you remember when you wanted what you currently have, puts it into another perspective for me, because I can think about so many things. If I just take, for example, my job, okay? My job, when I was a real estate agent and I was struggling towards the very end, I didn't actually care I cared a little bit. Like, I wanted to be in marketing. I had some sort of guidelines that I wanted to follow. But like, I didn't care. I was like, I just want to make a steady paycheck and have health care. And I was just like frantic. I was depressed. I was crying every day. And it was like, I don't care what I make. I don't care what it is. And the job market in marketing is pretty challenging. And it was back then too. I was like, I don't care what it is. And then I got the job. And it only took about a month, maybe even less, where I was like, I need to make more money. I need to start looking for something better. Same thing happened with my car. Like every car that I've had, if you haven't watched the video, I made a video on how stupid my car purchase was. I currently have a 2021 Range Rover Evoque, which I highly regret and don't recommend. But that car and the car before it, which was also a Range Rover Evoque, and the car before that, which was like, I think it was a Mercedes GLA, every single car I wanted so bad. I researched it. I watched videos on it. I would see it everywhere on the road, and I would look forward to it, and then I would get it. And I would enjoy it for about 2 to 3 weeks. And then that satisfaction faded, and I would go back to baseline, and then it would just become another car. And then I would start looking at other cars, newer cars, different cars, and admire those. Like, that would be better. That would make me happy. That would be the thing. This also applies to just every facet in my life. This was the theme throughout my entire life up until recently. Like, I can't tell you how often I repeat this to me. Instead of just saying like have gratitude, I say this to myself at least a few times a week. Do you remember when you wanted what you currently have? Like, you have a life you currently wanted. If I would look back at that girl back then, right, who was like struggling so hard as a realtor, and she just wanted some sort of income coming in, I was like, I don't care if it's 60,000, I don't care if it's 50,000. And now I'm at like, what am I at? I think I'm at like between 110 and 120. And it feels like it's not nearly enough. And I need to step back and have some gratitude for like where I've come and what I'm doing and what I'm learning. And even with my partner, like my partner now, I was in such a difficult relationship for so long. And I just craved a steady, stable partner who could be my partner in life, my best friend, who is smart and safe and intelligent and stable and not erratic. And sometimes I even take him for granted. And so I'm saying all of this. This is a lot that we strive for more and more and more all the time, and it never stops. It never ends. So maybe now, maybe today, maybe tomorrow, maybe you just take this with you going forward. Is like, remember when you wanted what you currently have. Just think about that, and then just have some appreciation and show some gratitude for what you've done and what you have and what you've accomplished. This one has had a big impact in my life over the last year, and that is to replace mindless scrolling and mindless consumption with active learning. And what I mean by that is that if you had looked at my YouTube algorithm 3 years ago, 4 years ago, even 10 years ago, it mostly would have been lifestyle influencers who are promoting beauty care products, clothing, shopping, shoes, all of that, like whatever encompasses a lifestyle influencer. And it's not their fault, right? They're just doing that's what they like. That's how they're making money. Good for them. But that to me is mindless. It wasn't serving me at all. The only lessons I was taking from that was to go out and buy the next best thing. Oh, there's a new lipstick. Oh, there's a new eyeliner. Oh, there's a new spring line at whatever store. And then when I wasn't doing that, I was just mindlessly scrolling on social. And what I've done that has had such a significant impact in my life over the last year is that I've changed that. I now, most of the content, look, I need to zone out once in a while, right? Sometimes I just watch stupid videos and I don't care. But 90% of the time, I am intentionally scrolling on social. And what I mean by that is that I have a job in marketing and in social media. So I'm either looking for ideas, I'm looking for hooks, I'm looking for titles, or I am trying to learn about something. Maybe it's AI, maybe it's SEO, maybe it's building a website, maybe it's marketing. I am trying to, it's basically edutainment, right? Like it's a little bit of entertainment because you are scrolling on social media, but you're also actively learning something. And then on YouTube, most of my YouTube, about 95%, is all on actively learning something. And this has been beneficial because this coincided with me trying to improve my finances, stop shopping, and get out of debt. And so in trying to build upon skills that I already have or improve new skills, and that takes a lot of brain power, and that takes up time that would have been spent mindlessly scrolling or mindlessly shopping. Like, I can't tell you the hours I spent prior to this, implementing this in place, the years I spent prior to implementing this in place, I can't even begin to imagine how many skills I could have gained if I had just put this in place sooner, or how much more advanced I would be in the skills that I have. Instead, I spend hours and hours on things that I have nothing to show for it except for debt. And I took it one step further. So not only did I replace mindless scrolling and consumption with active learning, but then to implement those skills, I tried to teach them to somebody else. And so I'll give you an example. 2 examples. The first one is personal finance. I am not, like, when I started this channel, I knew nothing about personal finance. I didn't know about budgeting. I just knew nothing about nothing. Zero. And I'm not necessarily trying to teach you, but I'm trying to teach myself. And in doing so, I'm reiterating that. Like, I'm reading about it, I'm writing about it, I'm scripting it, I'm saying it, and then I'm editing it. And so in doing that, these this knowledge, this information is ingrained in my brain. And also, I work for a real estate. I was a real estate agent for 2 years, and I now do the marketing for a real estate brokerage. And they hired me, one of the reasons, because there were a bunch of people in the running there was like me and about 4 or 5 other people that got to like the final stage of the interview. And I think that they hired me because I was a realtor. That was one. But also, I had a social media presence about selling real estate, and I think that appealed to them. And so they hired me. And now, just to break up the monotony of my job, to be honest, I do a lot of workshops and training on social media. But here's the thing, like, I know a lot about social media, but I was like never really, I taught myself. Like, I just read about it and watched videos about it, and then, yeah, I taught myself. And so I'll give you an example. I did a training on LinkedIn. I wanted to learn more about LinkedIn. I love it as a social media platform, but that's the one where I think I'm least knowledgeable and least skilled in. And so I was like, you know what? I'm going to do a class on LinkedIn, how these realtors can optimize their profile, when to post, how to post, all of it. And to do that, I had to do some deep dive research, wrote it out a few times, read through it a few times, watched a ton of videos on it, and then taught it to somebody else. And so now I am way more knowledgeable in improving and optimizing your LinkedIn profile and how to use it as a realtor or just generally in marketing. So again, long-winded to say, you will build confidence, you will build skills, and you will just benefit overall if you replace any mindless scrolling with active learning. The next one is something that's so true to me because I just called my sister on it this morning. If your decision is based on other people's opinions, it's the wrong decision. And this one is so fresh in my mind. If you're doing something to either gain approval from someone or a group, or if you're avoiding something out of fear of judgment, then you are on the wrong path. Understanding why you arrived at your decision and making sure that you're not doing it due to somebody else's opinion is a reminder to be self-aware and to think critically. It's so easy to get caught in the trap of wanting everybody to approve of us. And it can be really easy to ignore the little things that influence us. And I'll give you an example. This thing, I literally thought about it this morning, this exact saying. If your decision is based on other people's opinions, it's the wrong decision. So there is something that I was asked to go do next weekend. And I think the right thing to do would be to go and do it. But the reason why I don't want to do it is 2 reasons. The first is because I fear I will, and I kind of know that I will somewhat be an outcast in this situation, and it will feel a little like high school, and I will feel a little alone. In this situation, there will be people that are cliquey and very close and know each other, and I'm kind of like the lone man out. And so my initial reaction was like, hell no, I'm not going to that. Even though long term, I think it would be beneficial. And I think if I looked back at this in 6 months to a year, I would be glad that I went, and I think it would be the right decision. But my initial reaction was like, no. So then I asked myself, what would I do if I wasn't afraid? And it sounds so stupid to be afraid, but like, it literally makes me feel like I'm back at high school. Like situations like that can make you feel like you're so small. Like the feeling is like you're shriveled up in a ball, and any confidence, any strength that you have is just like diluted. And so I asked myself, what would I do if I wasn't scared? And I was like, I would definitely go. And then I was like, well, why am I making this decision? Like, what is causing me to feel this way? And I was like, well, the reason why I'm making this decision is based on this one person, because this one person is like the foundation of this group, and I'm not close to this person. I hope I'm making sense. Like, I don't want to be too specific. But anyway, it's this one person. She's basically the reason why I don't want to go. And I'm like, that's stupid. Like if she wasn't there, I wouldn't even have this problem. I would go, no problem. It would be fine. It'd be great. It'd be a great time. But she's the reason why. And so I'm like, you got to suck it up. Like she can't be the reason why I'm making that decision. So think critically, try to be self-aware, and make sure that you are making a decision for the right reasons and not based on anyone else's opinions of you and yourself. The next one is who you want to become determines what you should do. If you're unsure which path to take, which direction to take, think about the person you want to be, because your future self is shaped by what you do today. And so, to be honest, sometimes I am just overwhelmed and I'm tired and I don't know what I'm doing and where I'm going. And, turning 40, I keep thinking like, can I change? Like, can I change career paths? Can I increase my income? Because my goal is to get to an income of $250,000 per year. Like, I don't want to be uber wealthy. I don't want to like have tons and tons of cash, like 250,000, which is still a lot of money. That is my goal. And so I'm doing all of these things, right? Like I have 2 side hustles and I have a full-time job and I have a YouTube channel and I'm taking 2 courses right now, one on coding and then one on search optimization. And I just keep thinking, like sometimes when I'm tired or overwhelmed, I'm like, is this the right decision? And I don't know which path I want to take. I don't think it's great to be spread out as much as I am. Like I don't have one clear direction yet. I'm kind of doing a bunch of different things and I'd like to put all of that focus into one thing. But what I do know is that all of the things that I'm doing now, all of the learning that I'm doing, all of the actions I'm taking daily, whether I want to or not, will help that person 5 years down the road. And it is sometimes hard to think about that person in 2 years, 3 years, 10 years, because all you're focused on is right now. But what helps me is my sisters. They are essentially my mirror. And one sister is 7 years older than me and one is 13 years older. And I look at them and I'm like, I will be them very soon. And when I am them, I will have wanted to gain to this skill, and I will have wanted to reach this level of income, and I will have wanted to do A, B, and C. So keep pushing forward and keep trying. I feel like everything I'm doing now, at some point, things will come into place. Like at some point, everything will. Right now, I feel like I'm running 50 miles an hour in place. But I think that there's a reason for it because I'm gaining so much knowledge. I just don't know where to focus that knowledge at. That's my problem. But I think that I just keep thinking like, you will be so happy. You will look back 2 years from now. 2 years will go by so fast. And I will look back at where I am right now and be so damn happy that I kept going and that I kept trying and I kept learning and doing and taking action and learning from mistakes and just keep pushing forward and you will figure it out. So if you're not sure what path to take and you're not sure what to do, or if you're just feeling lazy or unmotivated, or you don't want to start something, or you want to start something, but you're worried about other people's opinions, just think about how your future self will think back at you. Like, make that person happy, make that person's life easier if you can. The next one is to keep promises to yourself. My entire life, I never did this. And if you want to talk about soul crushing and killing your confidence, that will. Because if you can't trust yourself, who can you trust? No one. And it took me 40 years. No, it took me 39 years to figure that out, is that you have to keep promises to yourself. It's not about the big goals. It's about the little things that build momentum. And so there are a lot of things that I tried there are a lot of things that I wanted to try and do, and maybe I would try them for a week and then I would give up, or I just wasn't as hard on myself. And that can be really demoralizing, whether you realize it or not. And I'll give you one example. I love sleep, and it is very hard for me to get up in the morning. I'm a snoozer. My dreams are like movies, and it is the struggle of my life. And for so long, I just kept snoozing and snoozing. And then I would be on this vicious cycle of regretting it midday and like, why couldn't you just get up? Why couldn't you just go to the gym? Like, now you're all messed up for the day, you're behind. And then every night I would set the alarm and be like, you're gonna wake up tomorrow, you're gonna be so refreshed, you're just gonna do it. And I sucked at it. There was like 2 years where I did not follow through until recently, until 2024. And I was like, you know what? This is a thing that you said you're gonna do. If you're gonna do it, you gotta do it. So it's the little things. And what I said with this YouTube channel, the reason why I made a promise to myself when I started, because I knew that this channel might be challenging. I didn't know if, even if nobody saw it, I knew that it would be challenging to be consistent and upload every week and maintain that for a while. And so I made a promise to myself. I said, I'm not even going to think about doing anything else. I'm not going to think about anything until I create 100 videos. And that was a promise to myself, and I'm keeping that promise. I treat this like a job. No matter what, I get a video up every Sunday, and sometimes it is challenging to do that, but I do it. So little things, big things, it doesn't matter. Keep promises to yourself. If you say you're going to do something, do your best to follow through with it. The last one is to find a mentor, even if it's online. And it's important to find somebody who pushes you to improve and to grow. For like 10 years, 12 years, my mentors were actually beauty influencers. I surrounded myself with them every single day. I followed what they did. I acted on what they said. And that did not push me to grow. That pushed me to spend money and keep spending money. Now I find people who align with my goals. I study what they say, and I try to apply what they teach. In every single video, I try to take at least one thing away. And a lot of the times, I will watch their videos 30, 40, 50 times just to get their information in my head. And so if you are lucky enough to have a mentor in person, that's awesome. But I don't necessarily have one available to me to rely on in person, where I can talk to about my goals and what I'm trying to do and parse out questions and decisions. And so basically, my two mentors right now, online mentors, is Alex Hormozi and Naval Ravikant. And these two men have had such an impact in my life this past year. I listen to everything that they say. I follow what they do. And if I'm in a situation or a position, I'm like, what would they say to do? What would they recommend? And sometimes I still don't know. But I think the practice is really important. Whenever I'm feeling like I think about them all day, like they're a lover or something. Like anytime I don't want to do something or I'm questioning, I'm like, I just think about them. I listen to them all the time. I'm reading Naval Ravikant's book, which I can't think of the name of it right now. But the second I'm done reading it, I'm going to pick it up and then read it again and probably again and probably again. Because the lessons are just, the lessons I'm going through right now are probably from them. I should have cited where they came from. I have no idea. I just write them down as they come. But they're most likely from them. So if you can, the old saying is you are who you surround yourself with, or you are a combination of the 5 people you surround yourself with. I am a classic introvert. I don't surround myself with a lot of people except at work. So I surround myself with people online. And then they are people who are smart either emotionally, philosophically, in business, or all 3. And those are the people that push me to grow. So find your mentor online. So all in all, just understand that growth is a choice. Start with small actions and just keep building on them day by day. And then look back at a few years and see what you've done, what you've achieved, and who you've become. I'm excited to look back at, I don't want to be 45. Jesus, I'm like, 40 was tough. Okay, 40 was really tough. But like, I'm not excited to be 45, but I am excited to look back and see like how much I've grown and what I have achieved. And like, did I reach the $250,000 income? I don't know, but I am trying my best. And honestly, I just want to say that I don't have these things nailed down. These are lessons. And like I said, these are things that I have to remind myself of every single day, but they are pushing me to be better and to do better. And I hope that they do the same for you. And that's it. I'm going to close it out here. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.